Okej, witamy Państwa bardzo serdecznie na konferencji Urbaniqe, pierwszej konferencji prasowej firmy Urbaniqe w Polsce, która dzisiaj właśnie będzie ogłaszała swój debiut na rynku polskim. Nasza prezentacja będzie miała miejsce w języku angielskim, bo mamy dzisiaj gościa nie mówiącego po polsku, więc ja też sobie pozwolę mówić po angielsku. Natomiast oczywiście potem, jeśli Państwo będą mieli pytania, to bardzo chętnie będę je tłumaczył także na język angielski. So, hello everyone. Let me very warmly welcome you to this press conference by Urbaniqe, the Hungarian startup that is just going to launch on the Polish market today. My name is Przemysław Pająk. I'm an editor-in-chief and CEO of Spider's Web, one of the biggest Polish websites dedicated to technology and business. And together here with me is Levente Toth, and CEO of Urbaniqe.
Thank you, Przemek. So, my name is Levente Toth, and for me, it's a big honor and pleasure to be here in Poland and talk about the challenges of urban mobility and the solutions that we can really deliver. And hopefully, you will find it really interesting in your life, and maybe we can really make your life better.
Yes, and before we actually get to the launch of Urbaniqe in Poland, I'd like to take a few of your moments to present you a kind of a background of what we're going to talk about today and what is important in our analysis of the market. So we are going to talk about the challenges of urban mobility. And you know, it's working? Okay. It's working like this. Okay, so we are going to answer the questions, what the underlying challenges of urban mobility growth is. And of course, you know that the line of urban mobility is growing very rapidly. If we look at this graph, you can see that somewhere between 2005 and 2010, the number of people living in urban societies, in urban areas, actually exceeded that of the rural parts. And what happens next is that this line of urban mobility growth is actually skyrocketing. And you can see that it is being projected that up to 2050, there will be 7 billion people living in urban areas. 7 billion people live in urban areas, right? While the rural line is actually flattening out, which means that it's not going to be more than it's just today. So the question is, the problem of sustainability of standards of living of urban population is in huge danger. And there are many different aspects of challenges that lie ahead. Okay, we know that it is growing, right? So let's get down to pinpoint the areas where it really happens. You can see that Europe, maybe it lags a little bit behind Americas, but actually the percentage is very similar. So 75% of people in Europe actually live in urban areas. And we've been facing the same challenges as Americas for over half a century now. But we know that the growth that I showed you a minute ago, this exponential growth of urban society, will actually come down to two of those regions, Asia and Africa. And you know, this will be a lethal combination, right? Where the high growth of urban mobility, of urban population, and then poverty, which is ever present in those regions, will become a true problem. But if we even go down to pinpoint the fact that the cars are growing in an astonishing rate, right? It is now believed that there are over 1.2 billion cars actually in use every day, especially for commuting to work and back to work. And if we look at EU total, it is 270 million cars at least nowadays, with a 10% growth over a decade. And if we even go down to pinpoint our region, CE region, we can see that there are over 18 million cars in our region, but the growth rate is actually even higher. It's 30% growth. So we know that there is a urgent problem that needs to be addressed very, very soon. So if we go down to this CE region, if we try to look where the problem is really important to solve, we can see that Poland is actually at the far front of the urban population growth and the number of cars. We can see that there are over 600 cars per 1,000 inhabitants. 600 cars per 1,000 inhabitants in Poland. We all know that Polish like automobiles, they like cars, they love cars, but this is an astonishing number, don't you agree? And if we look at our counterparts from Hungary, Romania, that percentages are quite lower. So we know that Poland has got a problem, right? And there are growing issues like congestions, health issues, air pollution that we're going to talk about specifically. So we know that there is a problem, right? The urban mobility is actually growing at an astonishingly fast pace. We know that EU has a problem and Poland specifically has a problem too. So what are drivers of costs of urban mobility? You all know what it is, right? So number one factor is the growth of fuel prices. And I know we all have been struggling with higher prices of fuel nowadays because of Russia's war against Ukraine and the follow-up war, the trade war between the East and West. But if you look at this graph, at this chart, you can see that we've been struggling with increased prices of fuel for over 50 years now. So half a century, the prices of fuel have been growing. So it's not a nowadays problem just because of this war over the eastern border. We know that this has been a challenge for all of us for over half a century. So actually, this is number one factor that drives the cost. But there are some also indirect costs that should also be taken into account, right? These are health costs. You don't necessarily think about part of those costs, don't you? You don't think about mental health costs that actually is due to higher rate of urban mobility, of urban population. Of course, physical health is obvious, right? There is a greater risk of damage, greater risk of noise, greater risk of sedentary life's impact on you. But mental health is also something that needs to be addressed because of growing trauma and growing grief over people who spend their lives behind the wheel all the time. But also, this is not all. Air pollution, this is a very, very urgent thing that needs to be addressed. And this chart, this graph, actually makes me unnervous. Because when we look at this, we see that the problem of air pollution is ever present, especially in Poland. Poland is actually is the worst polluted country in EU, and we seem not to do anything about this, right? Well, our government even fosters now coal burning, and all the problems with coal actually speeds up those processes that we need to actually take care of. So, if we look at this division of costs, you can see that this direct cost of increased fuel prices actually is doubled by the indirect cost like health deterioration, air pollution. So what you see is a double cost. So how can smart mobility address this problem, right? Of course, you have to think about smart mobility. And what is smart mobility? Of course, this is a part of a smart city initiative, right? We know that this is a global notion of smart city. We know what it means, that there are several different aspects of projects that need to be taken care of. like for example smart energy, right? So you direct chunks of energy to the parts of city that actually needs it, and you leave the separate ones without that much impact of energy. You know what smart education is, right? Especially now during the over pandemic times, we are accustomed to hybrid kind of education. As smart mobility is part of this global smart city initiative. And when you think specifically about what smart mobility is, of course, you think about fleet management. And what should a good fleet management do? Of course, this is number one factor, you know, that the prices of fuel, right? You can decrease the prices of fuel. But also, there are other projects like car maintenance, traffic reports, various notifications, alerts, maintenance. This is all that adds up to the notion of smart fleet management. And this kind of thinking gives you the answer how to decrease the cost of growing urban mobility, right? So it's quite easy to get down the prices of fuel if you manage your fleet, but also it's quite difficult to get down, to push down those other aspects of indirect prices. But of course, this is an issue that needs to be taken into account. So we know that good smart mobility systems need to also take into account health, and especially mental health, but also air pollution. Yes, so this is a kind of a background story of what we are going to talk about, right? So now enters Urbaniqe. So please, Levente, take over from me now and give us some hints about the research that you conducted on the Polish market.
Thank you, Przemek, and I was really amazed by this urban mobility presentation that you have given us, and you have highlighted all the things that are needed to know around urban mobility and the costs of urban mobility. And you have really highlighted that Poland is not just big in terms of urban mobility, but also the right place to come up with an urban mobility solution, because it's not just big, but polluted as well and motorized as well. And all the three cost elements, like the direct costs of fuel, the mental costs of health, and the environmental impact is there to consider in Poland at the same time. And there, I think there is the right place to come to market with a solution that is addressing all three elements in that. So if I take it further, then we have gone into some research before going to market in Poland, and we have compared Romania, Poland, and Hungary to each other.
So is Poland any different than
Yes.
Hungary and Italy?
Yes,
In what way?
Poland is different, and I will highlight how Poland is different. But let's look into the sizes. The first thing that you can mention and recognize that Poland is that big. So you might remember what Przemek said, that there are 600 cars per 1,000 inhabitants. That means more than 20 million cars on the Polish roads, by far more than 20 million. And Poland is the third, fourth largest market in terms of car parks in Europe, and almost equal to Germany, or very high rate. And you can see that. And what we can see beside of that, that this car park is quite aged. So out of those cars, more than 3 million passenger cars are operated by companies. And the average age of those cars is more than 13 years. And they are mostly diesel cars.
So they destroy our air, right?
Yes, but we need a solution. And most of the small entrepreneurs cannot afford to invest into zero-emission cars. There are 3 million cars on the roads of Poland already, mostly diesels, over 10 years of age. And if you want to do something here for their guys and for this car park, then we have to address the problem in the same way, that it's not going to be replaced very soon. But it's just a fact here. And also, what we have learned in Poland, that there is quite a big mixed use of cars. Company cars are also used for private purposes as well, of employees, private purposes, but also in many cases, private cars are used for company purposes, just for instance, commuting into work and back home, or doing some job with their private cars for your company. It is also pretty much, and the rate is highest within the Central and Eastern Europe in Poland for both. So there is really a need for a fleet management solution as well. So it's not just big, but there is a need. And if we are taking it further and look into Poland in terms of digital adoption, that we learned that based on OECD, Poland and Czech are in the forefront of digitization in Central and Eastern Europe, and those countries are far ahead.
That's true. We Poles love the technological advances, and for example, as far as financial services, Polish financial services are one of the most developed in Europe, much better developed than Germany, for example, or France. So I think there's a perfect ground for, new innovations also in smart mobility ecosystems.
Yes, right, thank you. What we have measured among small entrepreneurs in Poland, that 56% of them are ready for a fully digital solution to manage their car park and fleet.
And do you have the number of compared number, for example, to Hungary and Romania market? Is it any different?
This is significantly higher. So in the two other countries, this is below 50%. In Poland, this is 56%, significantly higher. And the adoption rate is higher, and also the adoption of a fully digital solution is really higher. And also, Polish companies are using digital tools already up to 40%. So this is a ground that is really, really, really good for go-to, with such a solution like Urbaniqe is. And if we are taking it further, we have asked small entrepreneurs in Poland how relevant could be a solution like Urbaniqe is for them to manage their problems around urban mobility. You will learn a little bit more a little bit later. And 65% of them told us that a digital fleet management solution, a fully digital mobile-first solution, is something that is relevant for them, and they would mostly buy into that one if such a solution is available on the market. And when we have gone into a little bit of the details, what is the most important thing for them? Of course, they mentioned first saving on fuel costs. Of course, they are skyrocketing currently, and this is mentioned number one. But also, number two thing is less stress with the administration to comply with the requirements around the fleets, to have everything in one place in Urbaniqe, like carving stone kind of stuff and those things. And I want to mention one more thing. This is eco-driving, become green. This is not that much popular as the other two, but significantly higher than in other countries in Central and Eastern Europe. So in this term, is also Poland is much more developed because of the fact maybe it's much more polluted as well, and the awareness of the green solutions is much higher.
Yes, I talked a little bit about mental health. We can see from these results that this is an issue, right? Less stress. 37% of your respondents actually highlighted that this is an important issue that needs to be tackled. And we all tend to forget about how important mental health is these days, right?
Yes, exactly. You were right. So those are the three big cost elements, and not just... So Polish people recognized that this is not just about fuel prices, but also the mental part is important, and also the environment product protection is also important. And when asking those ones who mentioned becoming greener is important for them, For them, such a solution like Urbaniqe is even more important, and they are even more engaged. They want to really do something for their environment and for the sustainability of their cities and their environment when it comes to urban mobility. And we have also asked what they should really want to have in such an application. So vehicle tracking is number one. You will learn how we make it in a revolutionary way. Secondly, digital fleet assistance. Just get rid of stress with that one. And of course, fuel management is important. So those are the three big pillars they want to really have in such an application to buy into that one.
Yes, so now the big moment, right? Now the big moment. So now let me welcome Urbaniqe officially to the Polish market. So Levente, please tell us what Urbaniqe is all about.
Okay, thank you, Przemysław. So, hello Poland, we are here. So we have made a soft launch already from July, and we have a couple of hundreds of free trial users, and from the 1st of November, our official operations are up and running here in Poland. And this is, for me, a very important time and high time to communicate this for you and Polish media, and also each and every stakeholder here, that we are here to help in Poland. And when using Urbaniqe, you can really address those things when it comes to urban mobility. So, but what is Urbaniqe exactly? As Przemek asked me, let me give you a brief insight into Urbaniqe, okay? So, this is nothing else than a lightweight, mobile-first fleet management solution. Why it is mobile-first and why it is lightweight? Because you don't need to have anything to put in or mount into your car. So there are fleet management solutions for a while now in Poland, for 15 years. But each and every requires an onboard unit to plug into your car or even mount into your car. Someone needs to invest into this asset, either yourself or the provider, and it's not on cheap. And you cannot try it out because you have to put in something. It is revolutionary and it is lightweight because you don't need anything else, just your smartphone. Download the app onto your mobile, whatever kind of mobile you have, and if it's on that, you just register and it's up and running, and the mobile phone itself simulates the work of a professional onboard unit. But you don't need to have this unit because you have your smartphone in your pocket when you're driving, and it starts measuring your trip when you get into your car, and there is an artificial intelligence solution inbuilt, starts working when it recognizes that you're in the car, and stops working, and you're not following you anymore.
So Levente,
out of your car.
Let me ask this question once again. So if I get it right, so you don't need anything from the hardware part. You don't need any plug-in. You don't need to visit your garage to have something installed. All you have to do is have an app and register in it, right?
Yes, exactly. This is my answer in brief. You don't need to have anything else, just Urbaniqe to download onto your mobile, register, sign up for the service, and start using it. And it is working autonomously, automatically, and it does its job for you and for your company. And it is also available on the web if you want to have some further functions to make available. So there is a mobile application and a web application, but you don't need anything else to invest into. So why we think it's revolutionary? This is mobile tracking, as mentioned, nothing else needed. No hardware needed to plug in or mount in. You need only your phone, and it does its job, fueled by the artificial intelligence inbuilt. Secondly, yes, this artificial intelligence assistant gives you assistance around your car when you want to manage your fleet, when you want to allocate the car from one driver to another, when you want to predict the fuel consumption or predict the carbon dioxide emission of your car. then your mobile phone is there to make it happen. Please don't forget, nothing is plugged into your car to measure it. Only your mobile phone to predict it with artificial intelligence. This is quite a big difference, and this is why we call it revolutionary, because you don't need anything else, and therefore no investment and no loyalty must be taken for that. If you like it, then you can turn to a paid customer, and anytime it doesn't deliver any more value for you, you just stop it. But for whom? Who are the guys?
Yeah.
We have created this application too. So this is basically designed for small entrepreneurs. This is the primary target audience.
With how many cars in the fleet?
Less than 10. It's from 1 to 10. So really urban fleets and small urban fleets. So very large companies have already invested into telematic solutions, but those small guys could never afford to invest such a things like before, but they have a problem. They want to really solve it. This is number one thing, small entrepreneurs. Secondarily, administration, controlling, assistancy, the guy who's responsible for managing the fleet, to come up with all the fuel slips each and every month, to put together the tax settlement for that, also to report the mileage to the leasing company, etc., etc. It's quite a big headache to collect all the data, the fuel slips from the drivers, or just to get the mileage, the current mileage of the car. So for them, it's also made of gold to put everything into Urbaniqe, and this is the single version of truth, and they can easily manage it. And also, we do not forget the drivers, the commuters, who are driving the company cars by doing their job or commuting to work and back home. So we want to deliver some value for them as well in their everyday life. Okay, and what we provide, what are the so-called value proposition? Why it is good to have Urbaniqe, why it is worth downloading Urbaniqe and start using it. So number one thing is savings on fuel costs. This is quite an important story for everyone. And the number one driver currently in Poland, as you have seen in the market research. But we are not selling vouchers. We are not selling discount tickets for fuel. So fuel will not be cheaper. But your consumption, the mileage, how you separate private usage from business usage, how you can really concentrate on the real stuff, that means the mileage down into your cars will be less. Then that means also you have to fuel less. And our promise is, if you are using it for longer, and based on our experience, there can be some 15% saved from fuel prices, from the fuel costs.
But there are also other two reasons, right? What you provide.
Because you have also mentioned this indirect costs of commuting and indirect costs of urban mobility, not just the real stuff of fuel, but also the indirect one, getting rid of stress, this mental thing to manage, and working under less stress. You might remember the persona I was talking about who had some stress with managing all the data regarding the car fleet. And also, we have gone into the research and shared 27% of the small enterprises in Poland believes it's important to do something for the environment, but they cannot afford to invest into zero-emission cars, but want to do something. And for them, going green, we give a chance to grow green very easily.
Okay, Levente, please, if you now please go into specific, how to reduce costs of fuel with Urbaniqe system, because I think this is a crucial thing to understand for us.
Yeah, so we are not selling vouchers, you know, to make it free or cheaper. It's not going to be the case. But if you use it the right way, and your colleagues, your drivers are using it in a right way, and they record the fuel slips, and you can report it and afterwards in a way, and you are separating business from private usage. This is very important because company cars are mostly overused based on private purposes. But if you are separating the two ways, you can limit the private usage, and with that, you can limit the overall mileage of the cars, and each and every drivers will be more conscious around the costs when it goes into their pocket here, and therefore the usage will be less, the mileage will be less, and based on our experience, this is around 15% overall thing. And you can follow the trips real time, and also historically. There is a replay mode in the system, and you can check, and we can really have some control over your fleet. And if all these things are working together the right way, this 15% saving is coming to you, to your company. What else? How to get?
Yes, but so the fuel fuel consumption, of course, is number one factor. But I also stick to the topic that interests me the most. I mean, this mental health issues. How can Urbaniqe reduce stress? Please tell us.
So, we make the work of the drivers and the office assistancy very easy in Urbaniqe. So you can take a car, you can get rid of a car very easily by one click on your smartphone, and you can reallocate the cars any times very easily. You don't need to have anything else to do. You can edit. These are the trips in the column in the middle. You can edit the trips, and you can follow up on the trips. You can edit the usage mode. You can edit the you can really split them up or get them together. There are various things to make it happen that your accountancy and your bookkeeping is right and around your cars. And of course, there are a lot of inbuilt reports. You can create ad hoc reports, a number of ad hoc reports as you like, but also there are scheduled reports. Based on research, we have created some standard reports that are covering 80% of your needs, and you don't need to do anything, just to set when do you want to get it, and you get it either in the application or you get it in email very easily. And really, you don't have to do anything for that. It's being created automatically.
Okay, and what about air pollution? Because we also talked that this is also kind of an advantage of using Urbaniqe.
Yes, definitely. This is the third thing. This is called eco-driving. Eco-driving is something that has become popular, but so far you needed to have something into your car to grant a solution for customers. Now, with Urbaniqe and with the artificial intelligence inbuilt into Urbaniqe, you are capable of measure the driving style of your drivers anytime, and not just the driving style, but the artificial intelligence, as said in the very beginning, is predicting the fuel consumption of your car. Nothing in your car, but it can predict, and not just the average fuel consumption, but the carbon dioxide emission of your car. And if it's there, you can really, with the driving style and with the average fuel consumption prediction and CO2 emission, you can really make conscious drivers. And on top of that, in Urbaniqe, you can easily decarbonize the footprint of your car.
In what way?
So it will come in November very soon, in Poland as well, that based on the reports of your fleet of carbon dioxide emissions, you can easily decarbonize it by clicking on a button that I decarbonize it, and if we are calculating how much trees we need to plant for that and in your neighborhood, and we have some cooperation partners in Poland, in Romania, and in Hungary, and we guarantee, and you can follow up it on, that those trees are getting planted. That is decarbonizing your historic carbon footprint.
So let me get it straight.
So you can do something for that.
Yeah, so
really.
let me get it straight. You partner with a company that based on Urbaniqe reports of carbon dioxide usage will actually invest in planting new trees, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
Who will pay for this?
Yes, exactly. So this is, we are calculating the pollutant emission, like CO2 emission, and of course you are the one who can pay for the decarbonization within Urbaniqe. So in an in-app purchase, you can pay for the decarbonization and buy planting of trees. You know, and we are ensuring a very, very transparent process, how it's getting into reality. And you can really decarbonize it, and as many trees will be planted. What was your pollutant emission? Just to be able to manage the footprint of a car fleet of 13 years, you know?
Yeah.
Those cars will be with us for decades, and we have to do something for that.
Okay, although it is a launch of your Polish operations today, I know that you have been conducting a soft launch before that, since July, right?
Yes.
And you have a couple of, actually, you told me a couple
of hundreds.
Couple of hundreds trial users already in Poland. So please tell us what they tell you about your service.
So we are really honored to have some trial users in Poland as well since July. And let me mention two things here that we got as a feedback. And we are really keen on having the feedback from each and every customers, because feedback is helping us how to move forward and how to make it much, much better for you. And some guys find it a very good cost management opportunity. So it is paying off within a month. And then it's a gold mine when it is being used the right way by all the drivers. You can save hell a lot of money by having much less mileage into your cars and reducing the unnecessary private usage of their cars and creating much more conscious drivers. Secondly, this zero emission, there are many guys here in Poland who told us they cannot invest into zero emission cars but want to do something, and for them Urbaniqe is a low-hanging fruit to do something, and they found it fantastic to do that without investing millions into zero emission fleet, because they simply cannot afford.
Okay, you've told us a lot about the app today, so please tell us how to get it, how to get Urbaniqe.
Okay, so it's very easy to get Urbaniqe. So it's an application that is available on both Google Play and App Store for the different kinds of users in the different kinds of ecosystems. So the process is very simple. You have to download the app and you can sign up. You can sign up for the app very easily with your email address. We do not request any credentials in the very beginning. There is an up to 60 days free trial. And for those who are downloading the app and register themselves, sign up for the application, it's gonna be free until the end of the year, this year. They can make a try whether it delivers really what. And then you have to verify your email address. This is important, to verify the email address. And then the application autonomously leads you into the application. If you give the permissions we need some permissions, of course. Then you can really start using the app, adding your device, adding your vehicle first, and then if you have some drivers, you can invite those drivers into your fleet, and it is very, very intuitive in it. So you don't need to have any specific IT literacy to use this. And it's up to 60 days freeze, and if we deliver on promises, then you can turn it anytime into a paid version later.
And how much will be the paid version? Can you actually tell us now?
Yes, we can do that. The paid version will take 20 zlotys a month per user. So it's not really a big money. It's €4 roughly.
So 20 zloty per one
gross
per one car in your fleet, right?
Sorry?
Per one car in your fleet.
Per one user, yeah.
For one user, actually. So 20 zloty a month. So really nice entry point.
It's a beer. It's a cost of a beer, roughly.
Yeah, in a fancy restaurant.
On a monthly basis, and you can manage everything for a price of a good beer.
Okay,
for your car fleet, and you can also doing something for the environment.
So you told us it is available from Google Play and also App Store, right?
It is available on the Google Play and App Store. You can download the app anytime, and you can very, very easily sign up. So it takes 1 minute. There are a few guys here in the audience who did it already, so it takes just a minute and you are in, and you can start using it, and you don't have to give us any credentials like bank card numbers, etc., etc., etc. Just your email address. We will verify this, and you can start using it very easily, either from the Google Play or from the App Store.
Yes, we are here at the Smart City Expo in Łódź, right? I know, because we've talked before our presentation, that this is an important event for you. Please tell us why.
Okay, of course. It's very important for us. We have chosen this event to promote the go-to-market activities of ours in Poland. So this is now in the middle of the go-to-market activities, and really want to go big in Poland, because there are a lot of cars in Poland. There is a problem to address and to solve, and there is a very good digital literacy in Poland, and also adoption. And now we are in that process, and why we are here, there are 3 reasons, very good reasons why we are here. We want to establish working media relations to create awareness around Urbaniqe. So therefore, after this presentation, we're going to have a Q&A session in this little room on the right-hand side for press or for potential resellers or for potential customers. We are here to really talk and give you more detailed information that cannot be covered in a presentation like this, but we can go into a detail. The same goes for customers. We are here to meet potential customers here in Poland, to hear what they say and to tell them our story, and try to convince them to download the trial version and start using Urbaniqe. We want to really meet them, and of course we are here to find partners. Partners are important for us. Either they are collaborating partners taking Urbaniqe further, or resellers who are reselling such services like this towards small entrepreneurships.
Yes, I know that towards the end of this presentation you have prepared a short video, 30-second video in Polish, so that everyone can understand what Urbaniqe is about. Please, give us that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this presentation. Let me
let's start this.
very warmly thank you for your patience and for your attendance. As Levente said, we are now awaiting you at this booth, which is right there at my right side and your left hand side, to speak to us, to speak to Levente about any queries that you might have about his service. And of course, if you need any attention to the translation, I will also be available there to help you if you'd like me to translate your questions. So thank you very much, Levente. It was very nice talking to you and having this presentation with you on stage, and everyone is welcome to this booth on this right-hand side at the moment.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thank you, Przemek. It was a great job presenting together. I enjoyed every moment of this. And you are really welcomed in the press room or anytime today or tomorrow at booth 77.
Yes, booth
we are
77,
here
which is
to
right
talk
there.
and really here to discuss your needs. Thank you.
Thank you.